Hello everyone, how you going? Welcome to How Hot Does Toronto Get in the Summer? Now obviously everybody knows Canada for being world renowned and being the cold country, even if you're going all the way up to alert, it makes sense, but I continually learn that Canada is also not a frozen wasteland year round. They do actually get some pretty high temperatures, especially having that temperature range, and so even though it might not reach outback temperatures or Dubai temperatures, let's just find out how hot can Canada get.
Hi guys! If you're planning to travel to Canada or even move to Canada, one of your questions might be, how hot does it actually get here? What's the weather like in the summer? As most of you guys might have heard, it gets super cold in the winter. I mean, even in Toronto, where it is relatively warmer compared to other parts of Canada, it gets as cold as -20, -22 degrees here. But how is it like in the summer, like now in July and August? So today, for example, it was 30 degrees Celsius. And that's, if I'm not mistaken, approximately 90 degrees Fahrenheit. But the thing is that although it says 30 degrees Celsius, in reality, it feels much warmer. It actually feels like 34 degrees Celsius.
Yeah, that is just insane. Like I said, the temperature range that Canada seems to have, I don't know if really anyone else can even match it. I mean, let's say Norway, Japan, all of these other countries that definitely get snow, I don't believe that they ever get anywhere near that temperature. And I mean, obviously Canada is a massive place. They kind of have the landmass to be able to have these big fluctuations, but this is just talking about the city itself just going from -20, which is apparently not that cold in comparison to the rest of Canada, and then you go all the way up to 30, like a 50-degree difference. So then of course when, like she said, you were actually living in it and you've gone, okay, 5 months ago I was in, yes, a massive jacket, but there was a minus sign in front of that 30, and now I have to be dealing with this and just going swimming or aircon, or I guess probably just a mixture of everything you can possibly get your hands on, because it would feel so hot. And I guess year in, year out, you will definitely be able to kind of get used to it, or your expectations would get used to, but your body temperature range would still just be freaking out going, this is either too hot or too cold.
So usually in the fall or in the winter, I would take afternoon walks at around 4 or 5 p.m. when the sun was still out. But now in the summer, because the sun sets at 9 p.m. and it's so hot during the day, I actually switched my schedule and now do my walks after 8 p.m., sometimes even 9 p.m. So right now it's July 21st, end of July, it's almost 9 p.m. and now the temperature is around 28-29 degrees. There's a bit of wind and the weather is just perfect.
Now obviously every single person in the world experiences exactly what she was just talking about, longer and shorter winter and summer days. I mean, the equator is pretty much identical in the grand scheme of things, but of course when you just go more north, or I guess more south as well for that matter, you really start to just feel more and more away from the sun. With it setting earlier and rising later, you really just do wake up and finish work in the dark. So even though in that case it obviously makes a lot of sense, at the same time it still just feels strange to be saying that in Canada you can be having 29 degrees at 9 p.m. Like, it just doesn't feel like it should be that case. But no, clearly you need to be moving your walks, moving your schedule just to be able to fit in around the heat, because, well, yeah, I can understand nobody wants to be walking in 35 degrees is what you described. I mean, if nothing else, at least you can just tailor your entire walk around the sunset just so you get that golden hour or golden minute every single time you go. If you have the flexibility, you might as well use it.
So the problem in Canada compared to other countries where it's hot all around the year is that actually here most apartments, houses are not really equipped for this kind of hot weather. So many places don't have really good or proper functioning air conditioning. Like in my place, in my apartment, I just have a fan and the windows are rather small, which is actually a good thing in the winter, because in the winter you want to conserve the heat and you want to stay warm, right? But in the summer it gets super stuffy and hot inside. There's even been a heat warning these days, so if you do come to Canada in the summer and it's this hot, then make sure that you keep cool, find air-conditioned, cool spaces, and also keep hydrated.
Now that has certainly surprised me, because from everything I'd ever heard, it was apparently that Canada had quite high building standards and inclusion standards and everything like that. And so yes, they were highly insulated houses to keep the heat in and everything like that. Like she said, small windows, and didn't even think about the size of the window. But then I guess it's going to be keeping the heat out, but only to a certain extent. And so once it heats up, it stays warm, and that's where you're going to be having some serious problems if your house is still 33 degrees in the middle of the night, I can understand why that's going to be difficult to sleep. And so for all these apartments and units and things that don't have aircon, I mean, like I said, it's just surprising. I thought that everybody had ducted or things like that. That's what I've always heard, is everybody has ducted, they have heating and cooling to tailor themselves to these conditions, you know, especially being in North America. I know that the UK, for instance, goes, no, we just have maybe a fan, but that's when a heat wave comes through London, they just go, oh, we cannot deal with this because nobody has aircon. In comparison to this, I thought that Canada had some, but maybe it's just less than I thought.
So just in case you're planning to come to Canada to travel, if you're not that good with the heat, if you don't like hot weather, I would advise you to avoid the month of end of July until August. So just until very recently, a few days ago, like mid-July, it was still pretty cool weather. It was just above 22 degrees Celsius. So really nice weather. But then all of a sudden, now in the last 2 days, it became super hot, and it is likely to continue to stay this hot until, I would say, at least mid-August. I still remember when I first arrived here in Canada in 2018, that was end of August, it was August 28th, it was actually already quite cold and I had to wear a jacket.
Now, every time somebody starts talking about summer in the middle of the year, my brain just starts melting. It's just trying its best to keep track of which days, which months, or what, but really just to be going from, I think she said June, being fairly alright, 20, and then all of a sudden just boosting up to 30 for 2 months, and then just falling back to jacket weather, Canada jacket weather in August. That's a serious bell curve right there. I mean, I do wonder, is it a worldwide thing, or maybe it's just an Australian thing where we have, let's say, the hot summer months, and then it goes cold for 2 weeks, and everybody goes, oh, winter's here so early, and then it gets hot again, and they go, oh, it's so hot again, and then it gets cold again. Finally, it just has this little kind of dog leg in the bell curve that all of a sudden people just apparently forget about every single time. The other question that I definitely do have is how hot and how humid does it get, because that relation can completely change the equation about how hot you can truly feel. Wet versus dry, completely different story. And so I can only hope that for Canada's sake it's not too humid, but then I was just thinking about it going, I don't know, Raincouver is going to be having Raincouver in the name for a reason. That requires a lot of water, and then considering that they can snow in the winter, it's just going to be a lot of water around, and so that could be pretty brutal, I must admit. Look, I just had to let my curiosity get the better of me, and so in this regard, at least it was only 4 degrees, but humidity is 92. I mean, I guess it's raining, and so it is always going to be high. Can I select a partly sunny day? Yeah, partly sunny, humidity 63, 65, 69, and so obviously it's not the slap bang in the middle of the summer, but that's not a low humidity number by any means.
So basically until almost end of August, it stays very hot and humid, and then all of a sudden at the very end of August, early September, the temperature just drops all of a sudden, and the temperatures go down to 20, 18, 16, and in November, as early as November, it's already 0 degrees. So in the winter and in the fall, I didn't really see a lot of people at this time in High Park, but now in the summer there are so many people out even at this time. It's almost 9 p.m. So I think it's a very good strategy, and wait until the sun is down and enjoy the outdoors.
There isn't much to say besides, yeah, that is clearly going to be a winning strategy. If, like I said, you have the flexibility in your life and in your job and everything like that to be able to just extend your walks to later times, whatever it may be, then go for it. It totally makes sense. It is something that people have been doing for literally millennia, just trying to escape the heat. But to be honest, I also don't really think that that is a good enough excuse to just write off a couple of months in the middle of the year, just go, nope, I'm not going to Canada when it's over 25 degrees. Like, it doesn't make sense. Just go and appreciate the country in all its glory. If you have the time off, go there. If you don't have the time off, don't go there. Just go whenever you can, because why would you not, kind of thing. The other thing I'm now wondering is, when is the Canadian summer solstice? It is, okay, so the 21st of June. Okay, so that is coming up pretty soon. So they are getting definitely into the warmer months. I mean, I guess to be fair, she also did say that June wasn't even particularly the hottest of the bunch. It actually got hotter in July, and then even, yes, trailing off in August, but it was still maintaining some heat in August. And so I guess once again, that is another similarity to Australia, because let's say December can get hot, but generally I believe that February is the hottest month of them all for us. And that has just reminded me that Australia is a little bit different and a little bit weird in terms of how they do the seasons, because we just give each season 3 perfect months. You just go from December 1st to February 28th, that is summer. Whereas other parts of the world, or apparently everywhere else in the world, they actually give it kind of more scientific start and end dates. yeah, look at this, that is just ridiculous. And then I'm sure for virtually everyone it isn't, but for me, just seeing that summer starts on the 21st of June at 5:16, not even midnight. Wow, I wonder, do people actually follow that, or do they just go on the 21st of June at summer? But honestly, I guess depending on how you look at it, once again, Canada just offers so much variety in terms of, yes, if you're a high heat person, you can go in the summer, you can experience the 35s or whatever you want to be getting, and if you're a cold, just rug it up kind of person, oh yeah, Canada, it definitely hasn't lost that kind of factor. You just can get down to -20, even -10. Either way, you will be experiencing snow if you go looking for it, or even if you won't go looking for it, it will come and find you. So even though I can imagine that Canada's range would be quite difficult to adjust to if you're just going to be moving over there and you move in summer and then winter comes along and hits you, or if you move in winter and then summer comes along and hits you, you are definitely going to be caught off guard. But on a positive note, you can also say that Canada is so varied, it offers so many different things that regardless of whether you're a high heat person and just love to go to the lakes and everything like that, or you're a low heat person or a cool person, you are just going to be rugging it up and just dealing with the snow, and you love that too. It does offer everything at your disposal. You just have to pick the right months and the right seasons and everything like that, and you are good to go. You get more daylight, you get less daylight, whatever you want, Canada's got it.